Thank you. The Honorable Member for Mpika.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to ask the Honorable Minister of Agriculture a question on behalf of the people I represent, who are farmers, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, 4 years now, the Honorable Minister has been struggling to pay farmers whenever FRA gets maize from our small-scale farmers. Madam Speaker, a lot of these farmers are not on feasible. Therefore, they have to plan in advance for the next farming season. Now, when they sell, when FRA gets maize from farmers on credit, like it has done now, that puts pressure on the farmers because they are not going to find any money to use for preparation of the next farming season. Honorable Minister, my question to you, therefore, is, where is your planning department? Because you needed to have planned in advance, sourced the money from the banks before FRA could even start buying maize. You've cited that you needed to buy in excess of what you had planned. Where did you think the rest of the farmers would take their crops to? You needed to have provided the market. It's your responsibility, Honorable Minister. Why have you always failed to adequately plan for the marketing season? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister for Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, the question that has been asked by the Honorable Member is extremely fundamental because it does not only affect the current government or the minister who is standing here today, it affects the previous governments, and if we are not careful, even into the future. Why do I say that? First of all, to give you empirical evidence, when I took over as minister, Madam Speaker, I found that the previous government had 2.1 billion owing to farmers. So for us to talk like this is a new phenomenon is not right. I sold that maize and I was condemned in order to pay the farmers. Now, what we should do when we are here is to use our combined intelligence to solve problems. Pointing fingers at each other will not help. Madam Speaker, if you heard me, I said the increased production and the minimal participation of the private sector is creating this problem. We should not underrate that. Let's go into the future. Now, Madam Speaker, Honorable Kampiang asked a question, and then he's giving me his ear, his cheek. I want you to look at me so we can converse. Please. Well, let me discuss serious issues, Honorable Saka. Joke with me outside at tea when we're eating bananas. Madam Speaker, I have been in this industry for a long time. Where did the big companies that were assisting in crop procurement go? Where is the Glencores of this world? Where is Louis Dreyfus of this world? How much did we, as local entrepreneurs, ETG, etc., put in? How much did we, sitting in this house, a capable person like my brother there, Honorable Anthony, where are we to participate in this thing? 5 years from now, Madam Speaker, 5 years from now, this country is going to produce 10 million metric tons. The Food Reserve Agency is still going to buy about 3 million tons. What is going to happen with that 7 million tons? It needs private sector participation. If we expect the government to be buying this maize, we will be delaying like we are doing. If we force the government to be buying this maize, the agency will go down the way NAMBOD went down. This is the reason. This is how NAMBOD went down. So, it is important that we as citizens of Zambia encourage the private sector through good policies. Through good policies. Allow exports, buy and allow free trade, so that the country can attract the major, sources of income, and that is through the private sector. I said it here. We were only supposed to buy 543, and that is stock for the Food Reserve Agency. How can you sit in here, Madam Speaker, through you, a honorable member is asking, why are you not buying all the maize? Then our thinking is not in the right direction to develop agriculture in the country. Who buys the soybeans? Who buys the sunflower? Who buys the wheat? We need to encourage private sector, like Honorable Kapyanga of Mpika, to buy and sell the maize to Tanzania. It's very near Tanzanian border. We need colleagues to sell into Malawi, to sell into the Congo. Why are you allowing the government to go into contracts to sell maize to Malawi? Where are you? Why are you allowing the government to go into contracts with the Congo? Where are you? Let us participate and get this thing into private hands. The government's role is to keep strategic reserve so that it can supply the maize if there is a short. So the answer, Madam Speaker, and that's why I liked that question, the answer is in allowing private participation and allowing exports. Not what our friends did. Not what our friends did. To cut exports, and therefore people went away. The companies I mentioned are no longer here. Where is Louis Dreyfus? Where is Glencore? Where are all those big companies? That is the answer. It might not be very palatable, but that's the answer. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member from Kaiti.